Well, Jordan, we want to do things on a timely manner, so how about we just get started?
That sounds good.
Hey, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us today.
All right. Are we good?
Yeah.
We in? All right. I'm Jordan Meyer. I'm the founder and CEO of Granular. Been doing paid digital advertising for close to 20 years.
I'm Steve Colmore, president. Hey, everyone. And this is just an overview of what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be talking about 3 proven programmatic strategies: geofencing, account-based marketing, and connected TV OTT. Really, our goal is that at least one of these strategies should resonate with you. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into that. But first, I think Jordan's just going to give a real high-level overview.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for joining us, everyone. If you've seen our ads before, you're probably sick of this image up here of me and Steve, but here we are again. That's us at Google and Mountain View a few years back. They had us out to record a video. We're one of their trusted partners, and we've been hands-on ad experts for decades. We've been doing this a very long time, and we're not just people selling programmatic. We are expert practitioners who got into programmatic years ago, and that's why we're talking on this today. So for our clients and viewers who know us, I'll try to keep this short. We are and always have been a performance-focused agency. What we do best is keep our clients' budgets in mind and make sure that we're using their ad dollars as best as we can. And we've been doing that since 2014 on the programmatic side, kind of certified across the board, and really have established ourselves as the experts in paid digital media here. So what is programmatic advertising? It's definitely grown in popularity over the last few years. Like I said, we've been doing this programmatic specifically for over 7 years. We always try to crawl, walk, run, and typically we test it on ourselves first. We definitely eat our own dog food here. We started running programmatic advertising for Granular over 7 years ago on Centro, which is now Basis. And then we've actually tested a number of programmatic platforms over these years: Choosel, StackAdapt, Amazon DSP, and Google DV360. So we've got a lot of hands-on experience, good client results to share. And anyways, back to what programmatic is. It's a way to buy and place ads on the open web. It's not within one of the walled gardens, which is like Meta or other platforms that just kind of keep and sell their own inventory. This is a way to really get out there and buy in a lot more places and a lot more premium placements as well. Really good specific targeting, automated real-time bidding, and scalability that is really hard to match in other platforms. The second bullet point here, it really gives you good access to the premium inventory, like some of what you see here, but a lot more. Places we tend to focus on for some clients where it makes sense: YouTube TV, YouTube Select, as well as other CTV inventory like Disney Plus, Apple TV, Netflix, and that list keeps growing kind of by the week. It's a really sophisticated way to use AI tools and machine learning and advanced bidding strategies to use your budget wisely, hit the exact right people at the exact right time, and drive better results. So part of what drives those good results is the audience targeting and a mix of the premium inventory. So Google, if we're talking specifically about DV360, which is our biggest programmatic platform that we use, Google's audience signals and their data is unbeatable. They've got almost 10 platforms with over 1 billion users, and that is really fueling their information on everyone we and our clients want to target. So it kind of brought back and continues to make possible some of the really advanced targeting that we once had through Meta, and other platforms that started to strip that away a few years ago. But that is, alive and kicking on programmatic. It's also a good way to run premium and highly engaging ad formats. So display ads, obviously, but then native, especially on your phone when you're engaged in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, it's a good experience on your phone. The ad can flow right into that content and look really good and get in front of the user in a kind of a non-disruptive way. Video, on the web, OTT, CTV, audio, talking podcast, radio, and then even digital out of home, the digital billboards you see on the highway. So some of these examples we're going to get into, we're going to share kind of 3 success stories and 3 real use cases here. And at a high level, we certainly get more granular with our targeting, but at a high level, here are some of the examples. You've got a busy fashionista, and we want to get in front of that fashionista for our B2C e-commerce client. We're going after a high net worth individual interested in specific fashion brands that are similar to our clients. Powerful power user of social media, frequently dines out, frequent shopper. These are some of the signals that inform us and our client that this is the right person to get in front of. The second example is going to be, we're trying to get in front of a skilled tradesman for a B2B e-commerce company. Again, hyper-specific profession targeting. We can tell if they're in market, if they're shopping, if they're looking around the web for these specialized products. And we can tell that they're actively using a mobile device in certain geographies, and they're using specific apps. They have apps downloaded on their phone that most normal people wouldn't. Not that they're not normal. And then finally, a college student prospect. This is lead generation category. They're actively exploring colleges. They're interested in STEM, which would fit the college we're talking about. Active reader, parents are high net worth, and they're in our geography. So why granular? I think we've proven time and time again over the last decade that we are the digital ad buying, serving, measuring, optimizing experts. We just got in the last week and a half our 10th year in a row of being a Google Premier Partner. And our dedication to high standards in everything that we do is unmatched. And when that gets into the programmatic space, that really sets us apart, because a lot of folks are just kind of buying the ads and putting them out there. And especially if they've got an incentive to put them on their own news website or TV website to sell their own inventory. We have no interest like that. Our interest is it driving business results for our clients? So next, we're going to go through a little more detail in those real world examples and show you how we're focused on results, not just vanity KPIs.
All right, thanks, Jordan. So the first of 3 strategies we mentioned we're going to talk about, geofencing, and this ties in well with what Jordan was just talking about. So you can go to the next slide here. So you probably heard about geofencing. Maybe you've run campaigns with geofencing. We're just going to simplify what that means here. So a geofence, and geofencing is a targeting strategy. What that enables us to do is target ads to users based on their location when they enter or exit a defined geographic region. We actually have a graphic and a couple of slides that is a better visual example here, so I won't just talk through all of this so you can see what this looks like. So the client that we alluded to, they're a leading Midwest university known for a number of different programs, but there's certain programs specifically that they really stand out, not just from their competitors in their backyard, but also across the entire Midwest. And so what we've been doing with them is for years working with them on their paid search and paid social campaigns, managing those, driving results. And so if you go to the next slide, Jordan. What we had seen is that, like most other universities, that they yield from basically, if you drop a pin on a university and you expand the radius, 50 miles, 100 miles, when you look at the proportion of students they yield, it's the vast majority going to come from that area. And we had seen that as well with our paid search and paid social campaigns. But uh, a year prior to us actually running these programmatic campaigns we're talking about, we had expanded that across paid search and paid social to say, look, we think you're differentiated with these specific degree programs, and we can go in the backyard of some of these other universities across the Midwest, and we have a strong value proposition. We think we can yield some students there, and we were seeing that with admissions, but we were really missing the full piece of the puzzle. We didn't have all of it because we were what I would characterize as doing a lot of mid funnel, bottom funnel, paid search, paid social, and the programmatic advertising was being handled by a third party. It was not integrated. They did not have a real foundation in performance marketing. They weren't talking with admissions. They weren't looking at Google Analytics. So what we wanted to do is say, hey, there's a different way to approach this, and go to the next slide. We had proposed a test that was designed where we would go ahead and actually pick specific DMAs and target these potential students, the example that Jordan referenced a couple slides ago. And really the goal was, how do we implement a strategy that focused on comprehensive engagement across search, social, and programmatic, display and video inventory. And really the thinking was, if we can go into these specific locations, put geofences around specific competing universities, and conquest across the entire funnel, the thesis was that was going to drive better business results. So I can go next slide. This is the graphic I mentioned earlier about geofencing, and really we're not giving the real specifics here in terms of the actual universities, but you could see here the way this works is we define specific locations and defined a radius around those, and then layered the targeting data we had in terms of, if prospective students meet these criteria, we want to go ahead and target them with ads when they enter these areas and hit them across all these different channels. So if you go to this slide, yeah, it's all about business impact. So yes, traffic went up, impressions went up. That's not really the lens that we look at success through. What did this result in? Significant increase in applications. And this was validated across not just the ad platforms, across programmatic, paid search, paid social, or GA. This is with admissions. This is really stood up to, looking across these different points. And this was a resounding success in the client wanting to lean even more into these campaign types. And so for us, yes, there are indicators that a campaign could be successful, and that might be impressions, that might be engaged sessions, but the business impact is where they were able to yield 59 applications from these locations they otherwise wouldn't have been able to yield them from without this sort of comprehensive campaign. So that is the geofencing strategy covered.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Next, we're going to get into account-based marketing. So this can mean a lot of things, but typically what we're talking about is almost like a old school Rolodex, where you're curating a list of targeted individuals that you want to reach for a business to business transaction. You can do that in the digital world now. And it's not only on LinkedIn, it's certainly in the open web if you've got the right targeting. So in this case study, we're talking about a specialized B2B e-commerce company. So it's not always, B2B isn't always lead gen. There are very specific e-commerce companies out there that only pretty much sell to businesses. And this client specifically served electricians, contractors, and architects. So they have really high quality products that outperform competitors. Similar to the last example, we were working with them for years, doing search, social, display, shopping, pretty much everything. And we got them into programmatic to show that we can get in front of additional users that fit their typical customer segment, and hopefully drive sales. So the challenge was to penetrate some new key accounts and markets that they might not have been exposed to. So what we did was really drill down into where we want to do this. We picked another geo holdout test just to more easily prove that this is the only difference, between the whole US or between your whole target audience and geography. We're going to select one or two and add something new. Programmatic was that. So on top of some of the Google audience signals that we had, like behavioral and interest-based audience targeting, competitor engagement, so we could see we had a couple big competitors out there, so we can add that, and Google has that signal, and the programmatic DSP has that signal of these users have gone to these websites, they've done these searches, they've looked for these products, they are shouting at us digitally that they're interested in exactly what your client's selling. So we layered that, and then additional relevant websites where these very specific tradespeople would go to, and most other people not in the industry would not. And then on top of that, we were able to layer Dun and Bradstreet data as a third-party audience to really solidify, like, all right, this is the exact audience that is good for our customer. So the channel strategy was, continue with our paid search and social, continue with shopping, continue with Meta, and then we're just going to add in incremental dollars to Google DV360, and again, in a certain geo or two, show that that's the only thing different we're doing at the same exact time. We're not changing anything else. No offers even, is just visibility. So we really focused on hitting those people and refine the audience down to the T. So the results spoke for themselves over really a short period of time. Actually, this is just like 45 days. We had a 65% lift in engaged sessions in that DMA, and then a 12% increase in transactions in that DMA. So we were able to not only generate a lift in traffic, but sales. And if you're in the B2B space, it's not somebody goes to a checkout line and they buy a candy bar. It's informed purchase decision. And a lot of times you have to pull them away from somebody they're already doing business with. So the fact that we drove a 12% lift in transactions that quickly was really promising to us and our client. All right, so the last example we have is more CTV and over-the-top video focused. In geofencing and account-based marketing, we included video in that creative, but it was also heavily focused on display native. This one is definitely just more video focused as our test. So for this one, it's our client is a leading D2C e-commerce brand that became really reliant on meta ads for driving top to mid funnel awareness and sales. And we developed a complementary and new strategy to really elevate that and amplify what they're already doing and try to influence some sales lift and awareness. So it was a strategic shift. We explored CTV and OTT as a scalable channel to really diversify their marketing efforts and take away their reliance on one primary platform. And then we saw the growth opportunity. We utilized really strong targeting again, and also leverage high reach of CTV and OTT campaigns to engage these new audiences, make them aware of the brand, and try to drive some action. So like I mentioned, we targeted, we set up a geo holdout test again. We're running ads across the nation. and picked out a couple strong DMAs where we had historic performance that we could benchmark against. We utilized primarily YouTube TV and premium YouTube placements that were very high value placements, and also incorporated a retargeting strategy with this client to benchmark everything against the holdout markets. So the results were pretty impressive. 21% order increase compared to benchmark in those DMAs, and then netted, this is all relative. They might have 1 million clients, they might have 1,000, but this was a significant increase of new customers for them. And that was net new. They had no idea who this client was. We showed them the ad in this geographic region and netted out brand new clients with a good LTV. So this one worked well against the benchmarked regions. All right.
All right, we covered the 3 strategies here, and if you go to the next slide, we talked about geofencing with that higher ed opportunity, the higher ed client, account-based marketing with the B2B e-commerce client, and then the connected TV OTT video campaign with that B2C e-commerce client. So those are just 3 of the strategies that we thought would really resonate with the audience that we've seen work well. But this is a really, and Jordan talked about just how many possibilities there are when he was giving the overview of what programmatic advertising is. We really can tailor these strategies to solve your specific business problems. You're seeing a depression in terms of appointments that you're getting for your professional services business, and you've tried some different things and it hasn't quite worked out. Talk to us and we'll talk about, hey, can programmatic advertising be used to help solve that problem? Are you seeing that your average cost per acquisition on paid search is going up and you're spending a lot of money in meta ads and it's not producing results, and maybe you've flirted with doing some programmatic but really haven't done it in a strategic way like we've laid out here? Talk to us. And the thing that's nice is in each of these examples, you heard us talk about, this is a geo test, this is a pilot, this is a campaign that was run. We can work with you on piloting campaigns or just rethinking your media strategies. Maybe you feel like, hey, I'm not unhappy with my current provider who's helped me with these things, but there's some light bulbs going off here that it would be valuable to have a granular look at it and say, hey, does this make sense? Do you think we're positioned for success based on the way that we're doing things? And we'll be able to give you an assessment. So go to the next slide. That's it. You're going to be getting a copy of this presentation in a follow-up email. This is our actual direct contact information if you want to reach out to myself or Jordan directly.
Thanks for joining. We kept it short and sweet for you. Plenty more to talk about, but hit us up directly for that.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Have a good day.